Let's make a bunny inspired by the artist Romero Britto. On the right is a picture of one of Romero Britto's artworks that has a bunny, and on the left is an example of our project. So who is Romero Britto? Romero Britto is a contemporary pop artist. That means he's currently living and creating art today. And he is originally from the country of Brazil. If you look at the map below, the country in red is Brazil. As a kid, he loved art and painted whenever he could. He taught himself about art and traveled to Paris to study the art of famous artists Matisse and Picasso. Eventually, he moved to Miami, Florida, and he began to sell his own artwork on the street. His artwork is now in galleries and museums in over 100 countries around the world. So what do you notice about Romero Britto's art? Romero Britto's art uses bright colors, bold lines, and patterns to express the feelings of happiness, love, and hope. He often paints pictures of things from popular culture, like animals, famous people, and characters. So here we see a picture of Mickey Mouse, a picture of the Statue of Liberty, and a picture of a dog. Romero Britto also makes large 3D sculptures. Romero Britto places his sculptures in public places to make people feel happy. These two sculptures happen to be at a hospital. Why do you think he may have placed these at a hospital? Now that we've learned about Romero Britto, let's go over the directions for our bunny project inspired by him. Since Romero Britto uses animals often in his art, we'll be making a bunny in his style. For your supplies, you will need a piece of paper, the pattern examples page that you can find on Google Classroom to use for ideas, a pencil, an eraser, a black marker, and coloring materials of your choice. First, follow along with the video to draw your bunny using a pencil. Then, outline your bunny with a black marker and draw lines inside your bunny and in the background to create sections for patterns and different colors. Then you can draw patterns inside some of the sections. And after, color using contrast, so each part of your artwork stands out. Notice how my bunny is in warm colors and my background is in cool colors. That way my warm colored bunny really pops out from the background. But you can choose different colors for yours because you are the artist. Let's go ahead and get started. Before you get started, make sure you have a piece of paper, a pencil, an eraser, a black marker for outlining, the pattern example sheet that you can find on Google Classroom, and then something to add color with. I will be using markers because Romero Britto uses really bright colors, and I happen to have some bright colored markers. So the first thing that we're going to do is fold our paper in half 2 different ways to make some guidelines that will help us with our drawing. So first, we're going to take the 2 shorter sides and fold them together, and that is called hamburger style fold. So the 2 shorter sides are folded together. Then open your paper up, and then we'll turn our paper. We're going to fold the 2 longer sides so they are together, and that is called hot dog style because it's longer than the hamburger style. Then we're going to open it up, and then you should have 1 long fold that is vertical and 1 shorter fold that is going horizontally. We're going to use our paper portrait style so that it is taller rather than wider. So make sure your paper is taller than wider. Now you can see I have some very lightly drawn lines for my bunny, and I'm going to show you how to draw your bunny using a black marker so that you can really see what you need to draw. But I would suggest drawing this with a pencil first in case you need to erase anything. So the first line that we're going to draw is the top of our bunny's head. We're going to draw it starting at the fold, going over and down. I'm practicing this with my finger before I draw it, and it's kind of like an arch of a rainbow line. So here we go. and then come down to the fold. Next, find the fold that you made that's going horizontally or across your paper. Put about 2 or 3 fingers below the fold. Then put a little dot where that is. So here's my little dot. I'm going to draw a circle here for where the bunny's nose and mouth will be. Notice that I'm practicing that with my finger before I draw it. Awesome, there is my circle. Next, we're going to draw the sides of our bunny's face. So using 2 curved lines that start here at this line and go down to the circle. So here's one line, it's going to curve inward towards the circle and stop. The other one will curve the opposite way and stop at the circle. And stop. Next, let's draw part of our bunny's body. We're also going to use 2 curved lines for this. They're going to curve out and go down. So one here and go to the edge of your paper, and then one on the other side to the edge of your paper. Next, we're going to draw 2 curved lines, one on each side of the top of this circle. So our line's going to go from the top of the circle to the top of the head, and it's going to curve out a little bit. It's not going to be a straight line, but it's going to go whoop and curve a little bit. So watch mine, and then you can draw yours. Notice that it curves slightly. This one is going to curve the opposite way. It's not going to curve like this, it's going to curve out a little bit. So watch how I do mine and then draw yours. Next, let's draw the ear shapes. So our bunny has 2 ears, 1 and 2. Above where these lines meet, I'm going to draw a little dot, and I'm going to go up almost to the top of my paper, but not quite at the top. I'm going to leave a little bit of space there, and I'm drawing a little dot here, only big enough for me to see. Then one on the other side. That will be the top of my ear shapes. I'm going to draw a curved line for the side of the ear, and then another curved line. And then here's the other side of the ear. It's going to stop at that dot, and then I'm going to draw my line down for the other side of the ear and stop at the head shape. These kind of end up looking like a big, tall letter N, or if I turn it around, like a big, tall, and long letter U. Now we need to draw some details on our bunny. We need to give it eyes, a nose, a mouth, and a couple whiskers. So on the sides of these 2 curved lines, we're going to draw eye shapes. So I'm starting with an oval, or you could use a circle. So 1 oval on each side. Then I'm going to cut it in half with a curved line. And then I will end up coloring that in black below. This will be the pupil of my bunny's eye. I'm going to add some eyelashes to my bunny. You can choose to do that if you'd like. Next, let's draw the nose and the mouth and the whiskers. So I'm going to draw a triangle shape near the top of the circle for the nose. I'm actually going to curve my triangle's lines a little bit so it looks a little more like a nose. And then I'm going to draw a straight line down from the triangle and then 2 smile lines coming out for the mouth. After, I'm going to draw the whiskers. I'm just going to do 2 on each side. 2 or 3 is probably a good amount. Awesome, now we've drawn our bunny. If you drew in a pencil, go ahead and outline your bunny with a black marker, and then take an eraser and erase any of the extra pencil lines that are showing through your outline. Our next job is to break up the space in our background and on our bunny to create sections for different patterns. When we looked at Romero Britto's work, we noticed that he used different colors in sections and different patterns. So our first step in doing that is creating some different spaces in our artwork to work in. On the bunny, we already have some different spaces. We have this part of the face, we have this side of the face, this side, we have the circle area with the mouth. Some parts of our bunny are a little bit bigger, like the ears. So I'm putting some lines inside of my bunny's ears to break up the space a little bit. I don't want to do too many lines, but just enough to give me some spaces for different patterns and colors that I'll be using. I'm also going to do this in the background, and I'm going to do this on the bunny's body a little bit. So here's one section and another section. Then I have 1, 2, 3 spaces. So I would suggest breaking up your space and your background a little bit with some straight lines. Notice I'm using a lot of diagonal lines that go at an angle. I wouldn't break up the space on your bunny's face because you already have those sections. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The next thing we're going to do is fill some of these spaces with different patterns. You can use the pattern example page for ideas, or you can come up with your own. So for example, if I'm going to fill this section with a pattern, I could look and see which one I'd like to use. Maybe I'm going to use some small heart shapes. That means I'm going to fill that entire space with hearts. Then when I cross my line here, this will be a new pattern, or it could be a solid color. That means it's just one color and no patterns. I think I'll leave this as a solid color, and then I'm going to put a pattern up here. Maybe I'll use some zigzag lines here. I would suggest not doing too many patterns on your bunny's face because you already have a lot of detail here with the eyes and the nose, and you don't want to take away from the face. You want people to be able to see your bunny's face and not have it be hidden by too many patterns. So maybe just 1 or 2 patterns on the face and leave some spaces as solid colors. I'm also going to add patterns in the background spaces as well. Now that I've added patterns, I'm ready to add color to my bunny and my background. When you think about what colors you're using today, try to think about something called contrast. You want your bunny to stand out from your background. So think about using 2 separate groups of colors for your bunny and your background. That way your bunny will really stand out. Like for example, I'm going to use warm colors like reds, oranges, yellows, and pinks on my bunny. And then in my background, I'm going to use cool colors like greens, blues, and purples. By using 2 different groups of colors, then my bunny will really stand out. You don't have to use cools and warms. You could think of a different set of colors to use on your bunny and your background because you are the artist. Then when I go to color in this section, well, I'm going to use a completely different warm color here. I'm going to use yellow, and the yellow will really make the pink stand out. So I'm going to continue adding color, working section by section, and making sure that my bunny stands out from my background by using different colors. colored in my bunny with warm colors, I can start using cool colors in the background. So remember, once you color in your bunny, change your set of colors for your background so that your bunny really stands out. Okay, artist, so I am all done with my Romero Britto inspired bunny. I hope you had fun today learning about the artist Romero Britto and learning how to draw a bunny in his style using bright colors, lines, and patterns. I can't wait to see what you create. Have fun, artist!